Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Art always faithful to thy covenant and to thy people. Great is thy faithfulness. Please forgive our sin and renew our hearts before thee today.
We should not emphasize African American history, but rather the role of African American in history.
While confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statements calling my present activities unwise and untimely. Seldom do I pause to answer criticism of my work and ideas, but since I feel that you are men of genuine goodwill and that your criticism are sincerely set forth, I want to try to answer your statement in what I hope will be patient and reasonable terms. I think I should indicate why I'm here in Birmingham, since you have been influenced by the views which argues against outsiders coming in. I am in Birmingham because injustice is here. Birmingham is probably the most thoroughly segregated city in the United States. Its ugly record of brutality is widely known. Negroes have experienced grossly unjust treatment in the courts. There have been more unresolved bombing of Negro homes and churches in Birmingham than in any other city in the nation. These are the hard, brutal facts of the case. On the basis of these conditions, Negro leaders sought to negotiate with the city fathers, but the latter consistently refused to engage in good faith negotiation. We know thoroughly painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Frankly, I have yet to engage in a direct action campaign that was well-timed in the view of those who have not suffered unduly from the disease of segregation. For years now, I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. We must come to see with one of our distinct jurists that justice too long delayed is justice denied. We have waited for more than 340 years for our constitutional and God-given rights. The nation of Asia and Africa are moving with jet-like speed toward gaining political independence, but we still creep at a horse and buggy pace toward gaining a cup of coffee at a lunch counter. Perhaps it is easy for those who have never felt the stinging darts of segregation to say wait, but when you have seen vicious mobs lynch your mother and father at will and drown your sisters and brothers at whim, when you have seen hate-filled policemen curse, kick, and even kill your black brothers and sisters, when you see the vast majority of your 20 million Negro brothers smothering in an airtight cage of poverty in the midst of an affluent society, when you suddenly find your tongue twisted, your speech stammering, and you seek to explain to your 6-year-old daughter why she can't go to the public amusement park that has just been advertised on television, and you see tears welling up in her eyes when she is told that Funtown is closed to colored children, and see ominous clouds of inferiority beginning to form in her little mental sky, and see her beginning to distort her personality by developing an unconscious bitterness toward white people, when you have come to concoct an answer for a 5-year-old son who is asking, "Daddy, why do white people treat colored people so mean?" When you take a cross-country drive and find it necessary to sleep night after night in the uncomfortable corners of your automobile because no motel will accept you, when you are humiliated, day in and day out, by nagging signs reading white and colored. When your first name becomes nigger, your middle name becomes boy, however old you are, and your last name becomes John. Your wife and your mother are never given the respected title Mrs. When you're hurried by day and haunted by night by the fact that you are a Negro, living constantly at tiptoe stance, never quite knowing what to expect next, and a plunge with inner fears and outer resentment, when you are forever fighting a degenerating sense of nobodiness, then you will understand why we find it difficult to wait. There comes a time when the cup of endurance run over, and men no longer willing to plunge into the abyss of despair. I hope, sir, you can understand our legitimate and unavoidable impatience. In your statement, you assert that our actions, even though peaceful, must be condemned because they precipitate violence. But is this a logical assertion? Isn't this like condemning a robbed man because his possession of money precipitated the evil act of robbery? Isn't this like condemning Jesus because his unique God consciousness and never ceasing devotion to God's will precipitated the evil act of the crucifixion? You speak of our activity in Birmingham as extreme. At first, I was rather disappointed that fellow clergymen would see my nonviolent actions as those of an extremist. I began thinking about the fact that I stand in the middle of two opposing forces in the Negro community. One is a force of complacency made up in part of Negroes who, as a result of long years of oppressions, are so drained of self-respect and a sense of somebodyness that they have adjusted to segregation, and in part of a few middle-class Negroes who, because of a degree of academic and economic security, and because in some ways they profit by segregation, have become insensitive to the problem of the masses. The other force is one of bitterness and hatred, and it comes perilously close to advocating violence. I have tried to stand between these two forces, saying that we need not emulate neither the do-nothingism of the complacent nor the hatred and despair of the black nationalists, for there is a more excellent way of love and nonviolent protest. If this philosophy had not emerged, by now many streets in the South would, I am convinced, be flowing with blood. And I am further convinced that if our white brothers dismiss as rabble-rousers and outside agitators those of us who employ nonviolent direct action, and if they refuse to support our nonviolent efforts, millions of Negroes will, out of frustration and despair, seek solace and security in black nationalist ideologies, a development that would inevitably lead to a frightening racial nightmare. Oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The yearning for freedom eventually manifests itself, and that is what has happened in the American Negro. Something within has reminded him of his birthright of freedom, and something without has reminded him that it can be gained. I was initially disappointed at being categorized as an extremist, but as I continued to think about the matter, I gradually gained a measure of self-satisfaction from that labor. Was not Jesus an extremist for love? Love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Was not Amos an extremist for justice? Let justice roll down like water, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Was not Paul an extremist for the Christian gospel? I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Jesus. Was not Martin Luther an extremist? Here I stand. I cannot do otherwise, so help me God. And John Bunyan, I will stay in jail to the end of my days before I make mockery of my consciousness. And Abraham Lincoln, this nation cannot survive half slave and half free. And Thomas Jefferson, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have no fear about the outcome of our struggle in Birmingham, even if our motives are at present misunderstood. We will reach the goal of freedom in Birmingham. We will reach the goal of freedom all over the nation, because the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up with America's destiny. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before the pen of Jefferson etched the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence across the pages of history, we were here. For more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored in this country without wages. They made cotton king. They built the homes of their masters while suffering gross injustice and shameful humiliation. And yet, out of a bottomless vitality, they continue to strive and develop. If the inexpressible cruelties of slavery could not stop us, the opposition we now face will surely fail. We will win our freedom because the sacred heritage of our nation and the eternal will of God are embodied in our echo and demand. One day the South will recognize its real heroes. They will be the James Meredith with the noble sense of purpose that enabled them to face jeering and hostile mobs, and with the agonizing loneliness that characterized the life of the pioneers. They will be old, oppressed, bitter Negro women, symbolized in the 72-year-old woman in Montgomery, Alabama, who rose up with a sense of dignity and with her people decided not to ride segregated buses, and who responded with ungrammatical profanity to one who inquired about her weariness. My feet is tired, but my soul is at rest. They will be the young high school and college students, the young ministers of the gospel, and a host of their elders courageously and nonviolently setting in at lunch counters and willingly going to jail for conscience sake. One day the South will know that when these disinherited children of God sat down at lunch counters, they were in reality standing up for what is best in the American dream, thereby bringing our nation back to those great wells of democracy where were dug deep by the founding fathers in their formulation of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. My fellow clergymen, if I have said anything in this letter that overstates the truth and indicates an unreasonable impatience, I beg you to forgive me. If I have said anything that understates the truth and indicate my having a patience that allows me to settle for anything less than brotherhood, I beg God to forgive me. I hope this letter find you strong in faith. Yours, the cause of peace and brotherhood, Martin Luther King, Jr.
A prolific drummer, musician, director, has taken his role as music ambassador further by sharing his considerable knowledge and experience with people of all ages, and will do so with us today. I further give you Mr. Willie Stewart.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here, sir, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be here today. I just want to share a little history with you. A couple of years ago, I happened to march on the Capitol with Stevie Wonder. It was very cold, coming from Jamaica, extremely cold. Diana Ross was there, and we sang to make it be a holiday for Martin Luther King. So it was really an honor to have done that. African American History Month. Very important. Why? Africa. Coming from slavery, our African history wasn't only about slavery. There were great kings, great warriors of that time. We are descendants of that great nation from Africa, that motherland. And I'd like to quickly introduce you to one of the drums. This was the first instrument, ladies and gentlemen, of communication. This instrument right here wasn't nucleared. It was just a simple instrument of communication. The drums in Africa played a very, very important role in that. Everything, all our symbols, it was a radio of our nation at that time. And this drum is called the talk drum, and it comes from the Yoruba tribes in Africa, and they use it for incredible communications. Now, I'm going to play something, and let's put up our Morse code and see if we can scramble it. Here we go. Anybody can tell me what I just said? Listen again, listen again. Antennas up. Here we go. Nobody? How are you? Near? I love you. Well, that's good. Good morning, I was saying. Anyway, they use this in music and everything. So why is it called a talk drum? We have vocal cords, and this is the vocal cord represents. And by pressing it down and leaving it loose, you get a... So this is a talk drum from Nigeria. I'm introducing you to different instruments today quickly and showing that relationship to our music to date. All right, now this drum. Tell me, what does this look like? Anybody? It doesn't have to be a musical instrument. What does it look like to you? A pot? A cup? Yes. It looks like a goblet. Well, this is from Ghana. It's called a djembe. D-J-E-M-B-E. Djembe. Now, this drum was introduced here by a very famous African drummer, Alatunje. He came from Africa, a master drummer from Nigeria, and he incorporated in New York and started to share this instrument. This instrument they call it the drum of healing. It was used for ceremonial occasions. Great kings were born, anything happened, marriages, deaths, everything this drum was used for. So they call it the magical drum, the drum of healing. And this is the high sound, low sound. All right, so let's see what it sounds like. Okay, thank you. That is called the djembe. Now I move to a different instrument. I'm doing quickly an introduction, and it's going to be about you all. The last little part. Getting younger every day. This instrument, I'll give you a cue. Anybody knows what it is? Give me sure it is. Thumb piano. A very famous band group in America, Earth, Wind and Fire, incorporated this instrument as respect to Africa. But in the role of Africa, what did it play? This instrument was used by griots. Griots were storytellers in Ghana, all parts of Africa, and they used this instrument to play while they told the story and the history orally. And this instrument sounds like this. And then they would say, in Africa, years ago, 500 years, no diseases, natural living, no Game Boys, no cell phones, definitely no computers, and no Kentucky chicken. Anyway, so they would use this and they would tell stories going down, and the history was passed orally through that. So Earth, Wind, and Fire, a connection to American music was that. Now, let's have a little challenging part. I'm going to call Mary, I think if I'm using it right, to come up here. Sergeant Major, sorry. Oh, Sergeant, please, please excuse me. I'll have to get educated on the proper address. I'm just a civilian. Yes, okay. Now, gentlemen, let me just show you so you can see. There's nothing. This drum comes from North Africa. It's called a doumbek, and they have another version called darbuka. And the reason why this instrument is very dangerous, gentlemen, don't play it around women. This instrument is responsible for the neck dance. When they do the dance, it's a very, my wife, what is that dance called again? Egyptian dance. When they use that, do the Egyptian dance, and also the belly dance is done with this. So please, gentlemen, use it sparingly. Could be very dangerous. But this drum, music is about frequency. Drums is frequency. If you hit the high end of a drum, the head wants to move. Everybody start moving the head. The middle instrument, the waist. And the bass, that bottom, has to move. And if you prove it, go to Brazil and you'll see it. So the instruments really vibrates. It causes a different feeling within inside you. Somebody move, even if you have to move. People say, well, I don't have rhythm. Everybody has a rhythm. As you're dead, your heart is on a rhythm. So it's just a matter of getting in touch with that rhythm. You'll be surprised what you discover. Okay, ladies, let's see if you have rhythm. Are we ready now? Here we go. Clap them. Excellent. You see? Thank you. You see how great they have rhythm? Great. Now, before I go to the next part, to me, from the age of 6, I was blessed never to be taught drums, but played it naturally. It's at the age of, when I started to play all around the world and was recording with Stevie Wonder, I said, but I want to do other things. That's when I studied formally. But to me, music made me very happy. And I decided I want to share that with everybody. Everybody has that rhythm, man. I'll be playing on stage, and if you don't watch it, when the guitar's playing, you get so much in the moment, you forget that you're playing. So in a minute, I'm going to demonstrate with these shoes that you see with you. I'm going to show what it is to play in the orchestra. But in the meantime, I'm just going to show you what is rhythm, coordination. Each part, the limb, your head, you have to think out of the box. You have to be thinking right, left, and you have to be able to coordinate all of that. Guess what you do, gentlemen, to be able to coordinate so much different things to make it all work. So let me start with a simple thing here. Let's hear the bass drum. Let's go ahead. So. So that's coordination. Now, gentlemen, if you'll accept the mission, I would like you to take the shoes. First, this section, take your shoes up, right? You're going to hold them in the air. Now, the foundation of any building or any company is the foundation. Right here on this table, we have the count. You're playing on the one. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to hold it, when you hold it up high because everybody's watching you. You're the timekeepers today. Yeah, the people don't know the surprise of your greatness, the greatness within each one of you, to be able to hold that beat. We don't get it. Excellent. But stop. You look like you're musicians. Wonderful. That's all right. Hold on now. We want now next oranges. Keep on. You're keeping it going. Hold on. Not so easy off. 3, 4. Keep it going like 3, 4. Oranges next. 2, 3, 4. Oranges 2. Hold on. Only reds. Only they're playing that rhythm. Oranges playing this. Listen to them. Keep it going, gentlemen. 2, 3, 4. 1. 1. Orange alone. Keep it going. We want to know next. If you listen to this rhythm, you know Bob Marley music. All right, now we want, no, the next one we want is yellows up. Gentlemen, you're doing great. We're going to keep you in the band. We're going to make a new band. Listen to the rhythm. Pam, pam. Listen to the chain of command. Greens up, greens. You're playing something different now. You're going to stop that chain of command. You're going greens. 1. Keep it going. Purple's up now. We're going to Jamaica, man. We're going to, we're not going to dance. You're going to go, oh, 1. Keep it going. Good. Small reds. Small, you're playing this. All right. Keep it going. Keep it going. Now that's, listen now, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Now try and listen to the whole. Boom. You're making music together. We could be in Japan. We say, domi arigato, domi arigato. We say, domi arigato, domi. We could be in Jamaica, man. Jamaica, man, where everybody say, now, everybody now, why are you doing this? Open your eyes. Avoid everybody else. Move your head now, loosen up. Move your head. Keep the rhythm. Don't lose the rhythm. Move your head. Move your head. Keep it, move your head. You have to chew chewing gum and walk at the same time. Move it, yes. All right. In Jamaica, man. We say, no problem, man. We say, no problem, man. We say, why everybody say, no problem, man. No problem, man. I said, no problem, man. Here we go. No problem, man. No problem, man. No problem, man. No. Who said we can't play music? Everybody. Hey, everybody. Hey. Will you stand up now? I want everybody to stand up. Now we want to move. Stand up and move. And move your feet. And move your feet. Hey, everybody. Wave your hands in the air. Keep with him. And move your head. Yeah. And move it style. Hey. Everybody. Hey, hey. Hey. Everybody say no. No problem, man. No problem, man. Hey. No problem, man. No problem, man. I said no problem, man. No problem, man. I said no problem, man. Hey. No problem, man. Everybody dance, everybody move, everybody dance, everybody dance, hey, everybody move, everybody dance, hey, hey, hey. To the right. To the, step, one step. One more time. You ready? Everybody make one step to the right. To the key to beat. To the left. To the right. To the, give a little movement. Give a little bit of movement, hey. To the left. To the right. To the left, me say, no problem, man. Hey, no problem, man. Hey, no problem, man. Hey, no problem, man. Hey, no problem, man. No problem, man. No problem. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, bam. Thank you, thank you. You can say, I just wanted to share with you that the importance of one community. In Africa, it was about relationships, playing music, so people would come together no matter what the difference was. But the moment the drums play, the difference was forgotten. Everybody was happy. That was a community. So I wanted to extend in African History Month, African American History Month, I wanted to show you what the community would do, what our ancestors would do from Africa. And it doesn't matter what color or creed, what matters is that we share oneness together. And music gives us that universal oneness of peace, love, and unity. And everybody can play that instrument, no matter what. And by playing in harmony, each one of you had a chance to play like an orchestra and hear what it is to have that unity that is unchangeable. Gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, sirs, thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is so many people, 33 of you in particular, who've gotten involved in planning of this in less than 2 months to pull this together and to find all the wonderful people who've been part of this. So committee members, please stand up. You know who you are. All 33 of you, stand up.